Show.
Tonight on CTV, temperatures are dropping and snow is falling. See how students and professors are slipping onto campus.
Then see how one immigrant is changing the coffee game in the heart of Old Town Fort Collins.
All that and more on CTV starting right now.
Good evening, Rams. I'm Kyra McKinley.
And I'm Gavin Wolf. Thank you for joining us on such a snowy night.
With Fort Collins seeing the coldest and snowiest day of the year so far, affecting students both on and off campus. Adam?
Thanks, Kyra. Thanks, Gavin and Kyra. Currently, if we are looking at Fort Collins, we're going to see it's 20 degrees outside with our winter storm warning. What does that mean? It means we're going to get around 4 to 8 inches of snow. Now, Fort Collins isn't the only place with a winter storm warning. We're going to see it also down in Denver. And just across the eastern plain, we're going to see those single digits and those low tens, even going over to like Craig. And we'll get some more tens over there, Grand Junction hitting us with 24. 5-day forecast, we're going to be seeing generally hotter temperatures. It's going to be 40 on Monday, then 48 on both Tuesday and Wednesday, and Thursday and Friday are going to take us into those 50s, keeping us a bit warm during our fall break.
So Adam, how will this affect students going home for fall break tomorrow?
Well, Gavin, the snow is expecting to end at 9 tomorrow morning, and all day tomorrow, these temperatures will be struggling to get above 20 degrees. Be sure to stick around because I will be going more in depth about how to prepare for such harsh weather later in the show. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Adam. One way students are staying warm is by packing into Moby Arena to support Ram athletics.
That's right, Kyra. The 3-0 Rams faced off against similarly undefeated South Carolina Gamecocks earlier today. Leah?
Thanks, Gavin and Kyra. And yeah, while Moby has been rocking the past 2 weeks, the men's squad had to finally hit the road to compete in the Shriners Children's Charleston Classic. The 3-part tournament had CSU facing South Carolina in the first round, which concluded just a couple of hours ago. So how did it turn out? Well, CSU absolutely annihilated the Gamecocks, winning 85-53. I don't know what got into Coach Medved's squad, but you can forget all about your doubts regarding this team. I mean, it wasn't even close. Rams forward James Moores balled out, going 10 for 12 from the field, including 2 threes. And may I remind you that this is a guy who didn't hit a single triple in the entirety of last year. Wow. As a group, the Rams hit 58% of their shots, which is mind-boggling. Their defense was stellar too. Other than freshman phenom Gregory Jackson III, no Gamecock reached double digits in scoring. None. Honestly, I'm still shocked by the result, but in a good way. Colorado State will be back at it tomorrow at 3 o'clock local time to face either Davidson or host Charleston. And right now, it's looking like Charleston might take it because they're currently up 54-47 with 12 minutes and 44 seconds left in the second half. This weekend might prove to be very special for the Rams basketball, and I'm excited to witness it all. And hey, they're not the only ones away this week. So stick around for more CSU sporting news with me later in the show. But for now, Kyra, back to you.
Thank you, Leah. Fort Collins will not be seeing a minimum wage increase anytime soon. After months of debating, the city decided to table the discussions and keep the city's minimum wage at the same as the state's. At $12.56 per hour, however, Fort Collins will be forced to change the minimum wage to $13.65 when 2023 rolls around, to follow state laws. Currently, the margin between minimum wage and living wage in Fort Collins is sitting at $5.83. A gap that is negatively impacting many Fort Collins residents. The city released a survey earlier in the year asking almost 900 working employees in Fort Collins their thoughts on the minimum wage. Almost 70% of survey recipients stated that they cannot respond to emergencies with their current income. The City Council hopes to revisit this conversation with more community engagement. And speaking of engagement, Gavin, what sides of the ballot got the most votes during last week's midterm elections?
Well, Kyra, election season has passed and Democrats can rest easy knowing that they remain in control of Larimer County, despite a massive victory from Republican Angela Myers. The Democrats now have control over positions such as District 1 Commissioner, County Assessor, and Coroner. The county's coroner position is now being held by a Democrat compared to recent years. However, Republican Angela Myers is serving another term as county clerk. Myers won with the largest victory margin for any county office this election, beating out Democratic candidate Tony Baker. Myers also won this achievement with the least amount of campaign money during this election season. Needless to say, Republicans and Democrats both have much to celebrate coming from this recent election cycle. And keeping with the legislative side of things, let's swing it back to Kyra, who has an update on what's new in the world of student government.
Thanks, Gavin. A new bill was presented to the ASCSU Senate last night, called the Grooming Transportation Act, that has generated a bunch of discussion.
On behalf of ASCSU, strive to provide a better environment for all the students out here, and the Groom Shuttle services is one of the best ways to do so over the winter break, especially with a lot of students traveling in and out of CSU. And one of the major goals of this project is to make sure that the international students and outer students who would be arriving to CSU over the spring, unlike over the spring, before the start of spring semester, to be able to utilize this code in a better way so that they could, have a best first experience while they come to CSU. So that is like one of the major goals for this project. And for this project, we are planning on allocating $7,000 from the executive cabinet, and then we are seeking $7,000 in addition to that from the Senate discretionary budget, as mentioned in the bill over here. So this is what it's all about.
This $14,000 bill cruised its way through the Senate and will now be presented to the Budgetary and University Affairs Committees. And with that, let's head back to Gavin for a look into an internship partnership from CSU PD. Gavin?
Yeah, Kyra, CSU PD has recently partnered with UC Health to add mental health support to campus officers. The Community Support Program is one of the first of its kind across the nation. Within the partnership, a behavioral health expert responds to calls alongside CSU PD when there may be mental health factors involved. Francesca Reinart, a behavioral health clinician, was recently hired and trained as a co-responder. She told Source, "My goal with this program is to be helpful through de-escalation, on-scene assessment, connection to resources, and appropriate follow-up. I hope this role will positively impact students, faculty, and staff, not only in the moment, but also down the road."
Colorado is known for legalized marijuana, but substance use in the state is about to get a whole lot groovier. Colorado has recently become the second state to legalize psychedelic mushrooms, following Oregon back in 2020. According to the FDA, the compounds found in these mushrooms are a breakthrough therapy treatment for major depression, anxiety, and post-traumatic stress disorder. The legalization will allow Colorado to build healing centers where residents can therapeutically consume mushrooms under supervision. Proposition 122 will decriminalize the use and growth for users 21 and older, but won't permit retail sale. And after all of that, Rams, it's time to take a break, but don't go away just yet.
Living with someone you don't know on the other side of the wall is hard, especially if you don't know how to be a good roommate. The first thing that you'll want to do to be a good roommate is make sure that you always stay quiet. Be considerate of others when using common spaces and appliances.
Hey, buddy, what you doing?
I'm just gonna need like 40 minutes. Be respectful of your roommate's privacy. Ugh, my bad. Finally, make sure that you clean up after yourself. Oh, a fresh toothbrush.
Have you seen my toothbrush?
Follow these tips to get along with your roommates and your landlord.
Welcome back from the break. 26% of students at CSU are from out of state. With the majority of these students from California and Texas, they may not know how to handle Colorado winters. Temperatures are dropping and snow is falling. But how may this affect students who are seeing snow for the first time? And more importantly, what do they need to know?
Look down while you walk. Look at your feet, because the slipping will be kind of scary, and that's the only time that I've run into any real trouble, is just sliding around.
If you don't like wet socks, you want waterproof shoes.
Drink tea, I don't know, something to keep you warm, just make you happy, you know?
Concerns on campus aren't the only thing Rams are worrying about. Today alone, DIA has delayed 404 flights and canceled 2 of them. The snow isn't all bad though. Some find the winter to be a time of beauty and fun.
Definitely just the things people do with it. There's always snowmen on campus, and people like trace patterns, and it's always a fun time.
I love looking at the trees with snow on them, and the kind of beautiful way that the branches are kind of half covered with snow and the underside is the dark brown, and you know, I enjoy that kind of thing.
I would say have fun. I mean, like, snow is a fun thing, and you can always have like a snowball fight or just like make a snowman, you know? It's always a good time.
I'm looking forward to our first real snowstorm. That, 1 inch we had was just a little wetting of the palate. I want a few inches to really enjoy.
With winter being such an aggressive time, I know I won't be forgetting my jacket. Stay safe, Rams. Fort Collins has gotten 6 inches of snow today, and it's maybe one of the coldest days of the year. Make sure to stay warm, Rams. Back to you, Gavin.
Thanks, Adam. One of my favorite snow activities is to find a coffee shop and curl up with a good book. One local coffee shop that I found will melt away the cold and your heart.
Since 2015, Harut Krusan has owned Konjo Ethiopian Coffee, located southeast of CSU. Here she roasts her own coffee beans and offers traditional Ethiopian coffee ceremonies.
They can see how we roast the coffee, how we boil the coffee traditionally, and allow people to have a conversation, bringing people together. I love the way that people actually respect and willing to share the culture, not only just to drink the coffee.
Harut learned the traditions of roasting coffee while growing up on a coffee farm in Ethiopia.
Growing up, I used to pick the coffee beans, the berries when it's ready. I used to carry a bag of coffee, help out my parents. So I think that's where the passion started. And I realized after I moved here, a lot of people spend a lot of money on coffee, but they don't even know where it comes from.
While sharing her traditional coffee with Colorado, Harut encourages others to share their culture.
Every person, every culture, every size, every shape, every color has a story to tell. We need to find a way to tell our story. Culture or food, language, you have to be the one, the storyteller.
For providing your insight and uncovering such an incredible story here in the heart of Fort Collins. Now, let's get back to Kyra for a new trademark for the city of Fort Collins. Kyra, what do you have for us on that?
Well, Gavin, when you think of Fort Collins, you may think about those local coffee shops or our dynamic music scene, or, of course, Colorado State University. However, the city has a new trademark. Fort Collins is now a bird city because of actions that support aviation species and their habitats. The American Bird Conservancy presented the honor to the Mayor Jenny Ardnett earlier this week. The 3 city council polices that won the award include lack of light pollution, the city's bird count initiative, and the city's Section 493 that mandates pet animals besides birds to be under restraint. Well, Rams, we are at the end of our newscast. And wow, that flew by really fast.
But don't go anywhere just yet. Our sports reporter Leah Cackowski is up next to give us everything we need to know about the upcoming football game against one of CSU's rivals. Been on camera.
Welcome back from the break, Rams. We'll continue from earlier in the show with some college hoops. Like the men, Colorado State women's basketball is also searching for its fourth win on the season, battling Mississippi State this Sunday. The Rams have had a stellar undefeated start, highlighted by that dominating performance in the opener against BYU, and it hasn't diminished since then. As we know, the Green and Gold have had plenty of new faces this year with some key returners, including Kendall Kinzer, Petra Farkas, and most notable of all, star guard McKenna Hofschild. The trio has set the tone early, amassing at least 80 points as a team in the first three outings, winning by over 20 in each as well. Wow. The Bulldogs are currently 2-1 on the season with an outrageous yet expected 104-47 victory against Mississippi Valley State. Like, come on. That said, the Bulldogs lost a head-scratcher to South Dakota State most recently on Monday. Strange. But anyway, as you can see, both CSU and Mississippi State clearly know how to score. However, the Rams are much better beyond the arc, sinking a whopping 53% of their shots from deep. That's insane. Overall, if the Rams perform like they have been, they should be fine. My only main concern, though, is that to this point, CSU has played in the luxury of Moby Arena. The girls won't have that this weekend, so hopefully they can carry that same energy in their first road appearance. And finally, I'll finish the night with Colorado State football. That Wyoming loss was truly heartbreaking. I mean, I really thought the Rams were going to pull it off. But it's a new week, time to regroup and travel down to the Springs for another rival in Air Force. And let's just say, the experts don't think much of this one, favoring the Falcons by 22 points. And it makes sense. Air Force currently sits at 7-3 overall, 3-3 in conference. Far better than CSU's miserable 2-8 line. The Falcons have bullied schools in their wins, while falling just barely short in their losses, one which to all too familiar territory in Wyoming. Looking at the highlights, we see typical Air Force, reliance on the running game, scoring 30 of their 37 touchdowns that way. And the man responsible is senior Brad Roberts. Roberts has been a crucial weapon for the Falcons dating back to last fall. He had a game-high 151 yards and a season-best 2 touchdowns on 32 carries against, you guessed it, Colorado State. If only his talent stayed in 2021. But this year, he's instead bulldozed for over 1,200 yards and 13 touchdowns. Dang. So, moral of the story is, CSU's offense either needs to reciprocate the Falcons' rushing attack with Avery Morrow, or the defense needs to obstruct ground movement from Roberts directly. And with that in mind, let's take a look at the numbers. Well, it's not a big shock that Air Force averages more than double the points scored per game than the Rams, because I mean, pretty much everyone else does in the conference too. And even though the Falcons mostly focus on pounding the rock, they still have 7 passing touchdowns. So yeah, this Air Force squad is diverse in its abilities, and the Rams will really need to step it up in every category if they want to prove the other side wrong. Most of us Ram fans have forgotten what it's like to get a win. That Hawaii game seems like forever ago. With only 2 regular season games remaining, it would be really nice to end the year on a high note. And with that, Rams, that's all the action I have for you tonight here on CAC's Closeout. But stick around, because Zoe Hayman is up next with all the spice for upcoming holiday weekend.
Worried about your friend, but don't know how to reach out?
You could say how are you or get a fake tattoo. You could ask with an app if it works for you. You could chat with them in VR. It's all good if you think you should check in. Yeah, you should.
Whatever gets you talking. Reach out to a friend about their mental health. Whatever gets you talking. Learn how you can help at seizetheawkward.org.
Welcome back, Rams. Fall break is right around the corner, and I wanted to see what CSU students were most excited about. It became obvious after a little while that food was the answer.
Hey Rams, I'm here at the Lori Student Center asking students what their favorite Thanksgiving food is. What is your favorite Thanksgiving food?
Turkey.
The stuffing.
Green bean casserole.
Cornbread.
Oh, stuffing. That's it.
Ooh, that's tough. I have to go mashed potatoes with gravy.
Me too.
After hearing about everyone else's favorite Thanksgiving food, it inspired me to make my favorite Thanksgiving food, which is mashed potatoes.
The first thing you need to do is fill a pot of water to boil your potatoes. Then it's time to grab your cutting board to cut the potatoes in half. This will help them boil faster.
Now that the potatoes are boiling in the pot, we're gonna get out the butter, cream cheese, and minced garlic.
After mashing your potatoes, you put in a tub of cream cheese, a tablespoon of butter, and 4 garlic cloves, but I used minced garlic cubes. When you're done mixing it all together, it's time to get your roommate's stamp of approval.
I hope all of you get to go home and enjoy your favorite Thanksgiving meal, just like I will be enjoying my mashed potatoes. What's your guys' favorite thing to eat at Thanksgiving?
You know, I think I'm a sweet potato person.
Kind of a sucker for some good stuffing.
I'm with you, Adam. Absolutely stuffing.
I have to say, my favorite is probably pumpkin pie. Gotta keep it classic. Anyways, Rams, thank you so much for tuning in to our last show before fall break. As always, have a good night.